All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to our recording on the DACA Workshop. So I am Tim Wilkerson. I'm a current second-year clinical PsyD student at GZAP, and with me I have my co-facilitator, Jijan.
Hey everybody, I'm Jijan. I'm a second year school psychology student at GZAP, Rutgers University, and we'll be leading you through this DACA workshop tonight.
Yeah. So I guess just as you're watching it, we're just going to be going through the DACA workshop today, kind of touching on what the DACA decision is, what this means for us and everyone involved, that it kind of touches on. And from there, we'll go through just some skills and tools and how we can deal with the uncertainty, the grave amount of uncertainty that it has caused for us in our different communities and different systems. And then from there, we'll move from how to deal with some, issues of uncertainty to more so self-regulation, touching on emotions, how this has impacted us individually. And from there, we'll wrap up and provide you all with any more resources that you might need. So let's get started. So the DACA decision, and for DACA, the deferred action for childhood arrivals, this decision was made this previous summer on July 16th of 2021, where the U.S. District Court held that the DACA policy is illegal. And in this holding, President Biden decided to stop or halt granting new applications for individuals coming to the country. And this decision had created a lot of deportation issues and a lot of lack of protections for those individuals who are here currently under DACA in the US. DHS had prohibited granting initial DACA requests and any accompanying requests for any employment authorizations or school authorizations, which led to over 300,000 immigrant teenagers and young adults currently living in the US without any legal permission who were unable to qualify for DACA. And when it comes to students, especially for teenagers in US high schools, the court ruling could mean potentially not being able to obtain a driver's license or even a summer job. And for those of you who are college bound or university students or parents of those who are high school students or up and coming college students, it could potentially block them from working legally in the US. And for young adults, this could mean not being able to provide financially for their families, including their own children who potentially might be US citizens. And on September 5th of 2017, just to backtrack a little, the Trump administration had announced that it was terminating the DACA program. And in the months following, there were multiple lawsuits filed across the country that did challenge the administration's actions to terminate the program. A lot of federal courts did order that DACA renewals continue to be accepted across and processed while these cases advanced throughout the legal process. So as we've seen previously, just throughout recent history, this approach towards DACA, this unfair and illegal approach to DACA, I just want everyone to know that you are not alone, that there is an entire group of community members, people in local government, state government, federal government, us here at GZAP and around who do this community work, who are behind you, advocating for you, praying for you, and fighting to change the laws that keep you being able to provide and have the best future possible. So as we kind of touched on earlier, with the decisions the way that there are, it brings up a lot of uncertainty. It can potentially bring up a lot of uncertainty as to how this will impact us today, how this will impact us in the future, and not only us, but family members, friends, coworkers, colleagues, and everyone all the like. So I just want to provide a few tools when it comes with coping with uncertainty, such as validation of your emotions, accepting the present moment, which may, and can imagine, be really, really challenging, especially at a time like this. Trying to accept the uncertainty of the situation, focusing on self-regulation, attempting to problem solve as best as we can, and repeating either of the steps as needed, if all of them. So when it comes to validation of your emotions, whichever emotion that you are feeling, it's really important to take time to sit with that emotion and really allow yourself to fully feel that emotion. And if you have these emotions more than once, which is totally normal, give yourself the chance to honor it and to know that, a rush of emotions is completely normal for a crisis of this magnitude. And anxiety is also a normal emotion. We need it. It's very helpful for us. It can alert us to dangers, threatening situations, and it's just a part of us being human. So especially in these times of uncertainty and turmoil and the like, really allowing ourselves to take a chance to sit and really feel the emotions that we're feeling and to validate the feelings that it is that we have. In terms of accepting the present moment, that sounds really difficult to do, and in a lot of instances can be extremely challenging. So how might we do this? Stating the facts about the present moment. And, for example, we are indeed experiencing a social justice crisis right now, and we don't know how it will turn out. Kind of embracing and acknowledging that uncertainty head on, and the present moment head on, can really allow ourselves to find some acceptance, find some peace with the uncertainty, even though it might be really challenging. But the more and more that we let this uncertainty kind of fester without really addressing it or without accepting it, can just add and create more distress and more anxiety, as we continue to navigate through these moments. In terms of accepting the uncertainty of the situation at large, similarly to how we accept the present moment, this is important to know that we might have a lot more questions than answers right now. And often we do find that to be the case. And, just to know that we are all trying to do the best that we can with the information that we have, with the resources that we have, and with whom we're, sharing these with. We're doing the best that we can to, try to help alleviate all of the stress, anxiety, and burdens that we may be experiencing. So as we try to, one, accept the present moment by validating our emotions and also accepting the uncertainty of the situation, and trying to find any kind of balance or peace that we can, give to ourselves, that just better provides us with the ability to navigate through these issues in the most healthy way possible. And when it comes to touching on, self-regulation and being able to focus on our self-regulation, you might be finding yourself kind of catastrophizing the situations. You might be finding yourself trying to jump to conclusions about what might be happening or what might be the overall outcome for what you might have to experience, or just feeling mass amounts of nervous energy in your body. So the more steps that we take and the more exercises that we can engage in, the more we can engage in activities that provide us some balance, some enjoyment, some stress relief to our lives. This can help us calmly regulate our nervous system. And the clearer, the more we regulate our nervous system, the clearer our answers and problem solving skills will be, and just how we could kind of touch on what it is that we can fix in the present moment. Which brings me to problem solving. And with that, as we're sitting in the present moment, we're taking account of what it is that we're experiencing, how it is that we're experiencing these things and the things around us that we can control. Anything that's solvable or workable in the present moment for us is what we could be able to address our attention on as we, have this more balanced self-regulation and acceptance. Because in this moment, I can imagine all of us trying to really problem solve, focus on, what we can do and how we can address the big inconveniences that have become a part of our lives now. For example, how we navigate school, how we navigate applying to school, how we navigate, obtaining any jobs to be able to, establish some sense of security for our families that are here. And how might these government decisions, what might these government decisions mean for myself, mean for my family? Um, but once we find ourselves in a place where we can allow ourselves the chance to think, slow down, and feel, and be able to just take account of what it is that we're feeling, how it is that we're feeling from a more balanced state, this can really help us be able to think about problems and solution focused steps in a more healthy, more balanced direction. And again, coming with number 6 is, to think about steps 1 through 5 and repeat them as much as you need to, or whenever you might start to feel anxious or uncertain, or might have a problem that you're facing that you might need to think about which ways to approach it and to address it. And a part of this self-care, dealing with uncertainty, trying to manage our emotions, manage our thoughts, figure out what steps that we take in addressing these issues. One very important piece of that is to lean on our social support network. And our social support network can be our immediate family, such as parents, siblings, aunts, uncles, extended family, any loved ones, any maid family that we have. Also, social support could be our friends. Social support could be our neighbors. Social support could be teachers at school, co-workers, colleagues. Social support networks are really important, and can be made up of anyone that you can rely on, anyone that you can trust, anyone that you can turn to in times of need, or anyone who can provide you consolation or wisdom, or really just be there to hear you out, listen to you, and support you. And it is this social support that really builds people up during these times of stress and times of uncertainty, and can also and often give them the strength to carry on and even thrive in these uncertain, tumultuous times. And this can be whether we're facing a personal crisis and need immediate assistance, or want to just spend time with people who understand where we're coming from, people who understand what it is that we're experiencing in the present moment, people who care about us. These relationships can play, and often do play, a very critical role in our lives and how we function in our day-to-day life. And social support is certainly not a one-way street as much as we want to lean on others. It's also important, in addition, to allow others to rely on us. And oftentimes this may also serve as a form of support for many others. Being support to others can help us in turn think about and be reflective on it, what it is that we're feeling, what it is that we're experiencing, and how we can navigate these stressful instances together.
It's informative for us to acknowledge that there are various systems that affect our everyday lives. But just by looking at this illustration, it might be clear to you what I'm trying to get at. There was a philosopher named Heidegger who expressed the heart of what this illustration is trying to show us. And he used a term called Throneness. Throneness means being born into this life, not having the choice of what kind of body you were born into, what time and space you were born into, and having to contend with that reality at the individual level, family level, all the way to this, what we see here on the global level. And it's not to say that we're doomed to it, but it's the reality that we have to contend with. And just using this illustration, we can start to consider, what does it mean to be you? What does it feel like to be you? And what can you do being part of a family that's affected by the DACA decision, the shaky ground that may put you in, being part of a community or culture that accepts you or your community and culture, or doesn't, or is complicated, that being magnified even further through society, or amplified rather, with the different ideas that are moving in government to address you and who you are, your family, and how this is going to affect you in your day-to-day life, and what are the possibilities for you in terms of engaging in some sort of activism to overturn certain decisions and whatnot. And also this is embedded in a more global context. Is there peace in your area? Is there war going on? Well, how does that affect everything below? And so there's this multi-directional, and sometimes there's this interaction between these levels and how they affect you. How does it feel? You know, a lot of us, when we say what's up, or someone says what's up to us, you always say, fine, good, okay, you know, I'm doing all right. But what if you were asked, which emotions have you felt today or in the past few days? Would this change your answer at all? Instead of opting for vague surface level descriptors like I'm fine or okay, you know, if the question was posed a different way, or maybe someone really looked at you and asked, how are you doing? And really you can tell that they were trying to meet you. Would you express yourself differently? You know, emotional labeling provides emotional clarity, giving you a deeper understanding of what has happened or what's happening inside you, how it affects you, and helps you see the possibilities for what to do next. The most important thing with emotional labeling is being able to have some awareness about what's going on and within you, kind of giving it some sort of providing some sort of understanding as to where it's coming from, and also allowing it in certain ways or not allowing it to affect you in the moment and others that you're sharing a relationship with. So that's very important in terms of having some sort of being able to give some space to what it is that you're feeling, and being more careful towards others and how you interact based on what's happening within you.
So as we talked about, you know, the importance of emotional labeling, you know, how might we go about doing that? And, you know, using descriptive labels for our feelings, rather than the vague or general terms that we kind of discussed earlier, such as I'm fine, I'm okay, these more surface level things to kind of keep us preserved, and as opposed to really getting in touch with what emotions we really might be feeling underneath. You know, this is a really important skill to kind of help us manage our emotions. First, we must know what it is that we feel, and this can come in the form of primary emotions, which usually is the initial reaction that we have to an event or to a trigger or something that happens in our environment. Like first seeing the DACA decision come out, like whatever it was that we felt in that moment, whether it was our heart sinking or feeling kind of this wave of anxiety or uncertainty come over us. You know, these primary emotions are very important, and it's very important to kind of give them the time to really acknowledge those emotions. And that can, you know, contributes into our secondary emotions, which is, you know, there are reactions to our primary emotions or thoughts. So no, we're feeling that intense wave of uncertainty. You know, we're feeling this anxiety come over us, and now, you know, what are those thoughts that we have as a direct, you know, reaction to those? So, you know, primary emotions, you know, they really often completely are natural reactions to things around us, like, you know, being sad. We could be very angry. You know, however, secondary emotions, these are really ones that are important for us to kind of control and grasp and get a hold on, because, you know, we generally have more of a choice about how to respond now after the fact. You know, if we're upset that someone's been rude to us, for example, as a primary emotion, and, you know, our secondary emotion, secondary action or response to our first emotion is to go and, you know, be rude back to them. You know, this is something that we can control. So it's really important to be able to engage with our emotions, be able to name them, be able to label them, and give them just the time it is that we need to validate, you know, what it is that we're feeling. And, you know, these secondary emotions, they really can guide us into how we proceed or choose to, you know, follow up with whatever it is that we're faced with. So, you know, how we choose to follow-up our feelings to the decision are often coming from our secondary emotions. And this could be to, express anger. This could be to express frustration. This could be to express, sadness to, a friend or loved one. So really giving ourselves the opportunity to be in tune with what it is that we're feeling is very important.
I like how Tim just provided us with those two levels of emotions and how complicated emotions can actually be. And in this example, we'll be looking at how there's the emotion that we can easily identify, but then also see what's underneath that's building up this emotion and what's keeping the flame burning. There can be a lot of emotions that one can feel with any situation. In this example, we'll be taking anger. Although on the surface, it may seem like it's just anger, there are many other emotions that are underneath the surface. You can see distrustful, guilt, nervousness, offense, disappointment. You can see how all these, like on the basic level, they may not seem related, but these can all fall under the umbrella of what it's like to feel angry and why we feel angry, regret or hurt. And I found this example and I thought it would help. If my coworker messed something up and I'm only aware of the anger that this mistake makes me feel, I might think that I'm justified in lashing out at him. But if I happen to be aware that my emotional response also includes anxiety about having to fix this issue, I might be more motivated to lower my anger so that I can ask for his help. So initially feeling angry, you can see that nuancing your sense about the emotion that you're feeling will give you more of a sense about what's a more appropriate reaction to take to feeling angry or whatever it is that the situation was that brought up the anger. For example, if it's guilt that is kind of bringing up the anger, instead of reacting from just a basic sense of anger or some fundamental feeling of it, maybe the most appropriate step is to come clean or to apologize, whatever that guilt may be. If it's feeling offended, maybe you would have to approach somebody or find a skillful method of addressing the offense without also offending the other person. So here you can see already that depending on what it is, what is the specific emotion that one is feeling to a specific situation, there's going to be a different response. But if we just move from the umbrella, the overwhelming feeling of being angry, we might miss the picture altogether as to what it is that we're actually angry about. So we see this little self-compassion puzzle piece. What does self-compassion mean to you? Maybe self-sacrifice, self-caring, attention to feelings, giving yourself some sense of space, unplugging. What is self-compassion? Kristen Neff, a researcher in self-compassion, defines it as the care we offer ourselves when we make mistakes. This includes such as embarrassing ourselves or experiencing a failure. It's about being kind to yourself, even when things don't go as planned. I find it funny. I see myself doing it sometimes. I see people that I care for doing it, where it's so easy to offer self-compassion to others and be very considerate in that way, and able to provide a wider narrative as to why they may be going through a particular struggle. But for some reason, when it comes to us, or particularly me, or someone that's going through it, it seems like we somehow forget that. We forget how to extend that compassion inward or reflect it within. And so this is the main point of this slide, is to return that same sense, that same kind of consideration and regard that you provide for a friend or a loved one. Imagine doing that for yourself and actually doing that for yourself. What would that actually feel like, providing self-compassion for yourself? And another way of seeing it, of course, is just compassion being turned inward, offering yourself kindness, care, warmth, and empathy. Some basic concepts into self-compassion include mindfulness. Briefly, this can be described as seeing, acknowledging, and or recognizing the self objectively. And this can be done through mindfulness meditation or meditations of different kinds. And you can go on and just do some YouTube search of various meditations, discovering what is the right fit for you. Or you can go on the Gazap Hope and Healing website, and there's plenty of resources there in regards to mindfulness meditation. And basically it's just being able to detach for a little bit and give some space to all the thoughts and emotions that are moving on within us, because sometimes they behave almost like smoke screens or fog that starts to define every aspect of our lives. Especially when we're going through a difficult emotion, it feels like the world is only that way, or our experience is only such, or I am only this kind of person. When we're in a more generous or spacious kind of state of mind, we can see beyond that. The next thing is self-kindness, non-judgment and support of that recognition of the self. So self-kindness, again, just that warm, empathetic quality that we can extend for others, letting that sink deep inside us and functioning within us. The next concept I'd like to touch upon is connectedness or interconnectedness. We are all human beings and we all make mistakes, every single one of us. None of us are barred from making mistakes, and we'll be lucky if we're not doing it on a daily basis. And also remembering that we are in a very mundane and profound way, we are all connected, and just feeling the support through that. So I just want to move through this little illustration that we have here. This is the little self-compassion mantra. And I'd like for you to just call to mind the emotion that you're feeling right now. Give you about 5 seconds to kind of feel that out and see what word comes up, and just choose one, maybe the one that captures it the best. Just acknowledge the emotion you are experiencing in this present moment. Be warm, kind, and non-judgmental to yourself as you sit with that emotion. Just let it marinate, let it be inside you. Give it some space. Connect with your community and the larger human family. Everyone has felt this emotion before. You're not the only one that's ever felt it, and by becoming accustomed to it, maybe you can hold it differently. Maybe it'll affect you differently. And maybe it'll be a place of connection that you can have with your family, or anyone else that you come into contact with within your community, school, wherever you may be. Remind yourself that whatever you are feeling is a genuine human emotion. I am a human and a part of a community. This is a very basic fact of our existence, is the experience of whatever you may be feeling right now. And it'll change and it'll shift, but the best thing to do is not to lose sight of it and let it get dumped down and bogged down by our daily experience, rather to become aware of it and see the connecting properties that it has, and also allowing it to influence how we want to engage with others.
So we really just wanted to appreciate and thank you for allowing us to speak on these topics. We hope that, in this really huge time of just so much uncertainty, so many potential emotions, so many potential feelings, that, we were able to provide you with some ability to better help navigate what it might be that you're feeling, whatever you might be feeling. Just some sort of skills that you might be able to take away from this, as you continue to try to navigate this as best as you can. We definitely encourage you to reach out to us at GAZAP Hope and Healing for any additional resources that might be relevant. We encourage you to reach out to friends, family, loved ones, anyone in your support network, so you all might be able to come together and allow each other to feel these feelings and process these things together, and think about ways that you might be able to problem solve in various different systems that it is that we have to operate through. And again, as always, please feel free to reach out to GAZAP Hope and Healing. And if there's anything else that we could do for you all, anything else that you would like to see us talk about, or maybe you would like to have us talk more in depth on very specific topics towards the decision and how we might be able to navigate the outcomes, or this in uncertain times, please feel free to reach out to us.
Thank you.
All right, what did you think about that? I'm still actually.
I thought you did great. I wish I brushed up a little bit more on it.